This video will show you why manifestation is speeding up, why things are happening quicker than ever, and I'm going to show you exactly how to optimize it so that you experience what you want faster than ever. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you more on understanding why manifestation time is speeding up, why it will continue to speed up as time goes along, and how to stay focused on what you want to experience so that you really get what you want in life. So this is about understanding a lot of what's going on the planet right now. And I know this may sound esoteric to a lot of people, but in general, there is a collective bubble around everybody, just like there's a collective electromagnetic bubble around us, a singular individual one around us. So we have, even though we see and we're like, hey, my skin goes this far, I can see them, this is who I am, our energy field goes all around our body. They've showed this with different types of machines. They show this with auras. And the idea behind it, something that the Heart Math Institute has shown, is that there's a toroidal field around the body that comes out of the heart and then one that also comes out of the head. And in a way, it's constantly going in a toroidal type action. Now here's the thing, whatever we are thinking about, whatever momentum we have, whatever emotions we are feeling, that is speeding up the toroidal field going around our body, therefore causing things to happen that resonate with those kind of feelings and emotions. So a lot of times we think, oh, I'm not thinking about this, but if we're putting momentum in a certain direction, if we have a certain direction we're putting momentum in and we continue to think those things, even though after we may have stopped thinking about it, there may be a certain momentum that's been built up for that to play itself out. That's why sometimes it's important to really let go of the outcome, because when you do that, you're not waiting for the mirror to change. Like, life is a reflection of what we believe to be true, but if we keep waiting for the outer reflection to change first, then we don't actually experience the change that we need. So this is about having that awareness and at the same time understanding that there's an electromagnetic energy around our body. There's also around the planet collectively of all of us connected together of what we are creating for our collective reality. So this has to do with politics, this has to do with different relations we have with different countries. There's a whole bunch of collective beliefs that kind of bang up against each other, and that's when we disagree with things from different countries, and that's when things happen. So the reason I'm saying all this is so we understand, first off, that around our body there's an electromagnetic energy. There's also one around the planet, and right now what is happening on the planet is that there is a transition of consciousness going on. Now I know that sounds kind of esoteric like I was saying, but the truth of the matter is there's a lot of different things that point to this. This is something that Eckhart Tolle has said before. He said there's something called the new earth, and it's more of a metaphor for understanding that there's a new way of being that is necessary, because if we don't figure it out, the planet will literally destroy itself because of the imbalance of energy, the imbalance of the way we're treating the planet, because us together, if we just keep battling over and over again, eventually something's going to happen. So it's this understanding that we have to have a consciousness shift in order to really change. Now, what else has pointed to this? Well, this is something I've actually realized since I had a spiritual awakening back in 2012. Now, I knew and I could feel that one of the reasons so many people are here, including you, maybe, and you don't even really remember it, is that you came here because this is a time of transition, a very powerful time, very exciting time to be alive right now, because we are going through a transition of what are called densities. Now, densities are similar to dimensions, but they are a little bit different. Densities are different states of consciousness. Now, think of it like, I've explained this a couple times before, but think of the first density is the density of minerals, the density of the idea of the rocks, the elements, the structures around the planet. Second density is of animals, of some types of plants. And a lot of times our animals are in second density. When we start to give it love and affection, we then allow it to start to move into more a third density state of being. And in third density, they become more aware of themselves because they become more individualized as we love them. So that's a way that you can help your animal go from second to third density. Now in third density, that's where we've been for a very long time. Third density is the density of self-awareness, of becoming aware of our thoughts, of becoming aware of what we experience in our life. Third density is also a density of polarization. So we have the left and the right side of the brain. We have light and dark. We have good and bad. We have this very polarized way of thinking. That's something we've been in a cycle of for thousands of years as a species, or as on this planet. Now, this is what is happening. We are now moving from the third density into the fourth and the fifth density. Now, the fourth density is that of understanding, kind of like more of a dreamlike state. Things become much more flexible. And the third density, to manifest things, it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of focus in order for things to happen, sometimes even a lot of action. What we're moving into, though, is a density, and we've already actually have started this process. And what this is there can still be positive and negative, that polarization, but it's much more balanced from a level of understanding. And in general, we become more aware of how to create what we want quickly. Time, in a way, the perception of time will speed up. Things will feel a little bit more like a dream, more loose, more ability, things are more malleable. So that's something that happens in the 4D level of consciousness, which is what we're moving into. Fifth dimensional, or fifth density, is about unconditional love and acceptance, understanding that we are all connected, we are all one. So in general, now let me show you why I've come to this kind of conclusion. Well, one, it's something that through meditation, it's something that I can feel that is happening. I believe that it was one of the purposes of many of us coming here, is to experience this transition together, but also to help other people understand about what may be going on. Because as the vibration, this is what's also happening, the vibration on the planet is increasing. We are going from a certain level of consciousness to a higher one, and our energy is literally starting to speed up. You're feeling, this sounds kind of funny, but I feel like right now what I feel on my day-to-day life, if I would have felt this back in 2010, I would think I was on something, because I felt so good majority of the time. Now, of course, there's ways. I'm not saying that like I'm always feeling blissful, but in general, I believe that it's almost like the analogy of the frog that you put inside a pot of boiling water, and if you put it in there, it jumps out immediately. But if you put it in lukewarm water, and then it heats up and then boils, it'll boil itself to death. That's a classic analogy. I'm not saying to do that to animals. I'm just saying that's something that they use an analogy for understanding that we have been raising our vibration over the last so many years, and we don't even really understand it. But if we were to go back, I think it would be very obvious, very apparent that things have really sped up in a powerful way. So literally our vibrational state of consciousness is beginning to change. And if you look around, I don't know about you, but I see so many people waking up to more of who they are at a spiritual level, understanding that they are spiritual beings having temporary human experiences. I've seen so many people coming to understand just deeper part of who they are. More people are resonating with the kind of information that I share, even people like friends and stuff that I never really would have thought would have come around. So it's really cool to see. So in general, the state of consciousness of the planet is raising. As that happens, so does time, the experience of time, speed up because our vibration is higher. We're not thinking in the linear type thought process as much. And the more that we think, the more that we make things complicated, is the more that we experience that. So if you want a meditation as well to help you raise your vibrational set point, I've created one that I think if you listen to for 21 days, it can absolutely transform your life. It's absolutely free. It's the meditation that really helped me go from a solid 3 to 4 out of 10 on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 feeling the best. And then after I went to about a 7 or 8, when I went through my spiritual awakening, I started to feel totally different. And I felt like that's where I have been since then. So I made it into a meditation, kind of what I've learned. And it's something you can download for absolutely free. Like I said, 21 days, I think it can really change your life. It's in the top of the description box below. And this whole process is about understanding this transition that we are going through. And that as we go through it, as we go from this old way of thinking, this 3D density is also about labels. It's like, this is who I am, that is who you are. This is my country, that is your country. And these labels are kind of outdated. If you look around and you hear things like that, it's kind of like, oh, that's, when we think of like people, clashing against other people because of skin color, to me, it's like, it's just so outdated. I know it still exists in some forms, but it's just such a, the concept to me is just kind of ridiculous, because at the fundamental level, we are all connected. Pigmentation in skin doesn't really make a difference, or it just, it can make someone unique and make them feel a certain way, but it doesn't really mean anything other than the meaning we give it, because we're all connected. So that comes from more of that higher density realization that we are all connected, and we're starting to really understand that more. We're starting to understand that these outdated ideas of racism and things like that just really don't apply. And of course they still exist in some form, but I perceive less and less of it, maybe because I'm not focused on it. But nonetheless, this is about really connecting to who we are at a deeper level and understanding that things are going to continue to speed up. I really believe that over the next 5 or 10 years, things will happen more and more quickly. So what I encourage you to do is to really get in alignment with who you are. Get in alignment with your own energy. Get in alignment with what you're passionate about, because the passion that you feel when you find something you're passionate about, that feeling is your body's translation telling you that's what you're meant to be doing. Telling you go in this direction, because things will happen very quickly. Synchronicities will appear. Synchronicities will continue to speed up over the course of this time that we are going through, and I think it's only going to get more and more. So the more you're in alignment with what you want, the more you focus on what you want, the more you'll get it. Focus equals feeling, and when you create a certain momentum in a direction, that momentum will create more and more synchronicity and more experiences in your life. So this is really about understanding that transition that we're going through as a planet. Now let me explain to you where I got some of this information. You can read more about this from the books of Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon is a well-known, famous hypnotherapist that's been around for a very long time. She actually passed away, but she was a hypnotherapist for about 30 or 40 years, and she would get people to one of the deepest levels of brainwave activity, where then she'd ask their subconscious or their higher self to come through, and the higher self or the subconscious would come through and give answers to why that person incarnated at this time, to what this person meant in this person's life, like why are they going through these kind of experiences, maybe it was karma from a past life. All these different understandings that seem kind of esoteric, but she interviewed thousands and thousands of people. She has 17 or 27 books. 17 books, I think. 17 books out. They're awesome books, and they're all transcripts of these sessions. Now here's the cool thing. She has been doing this. She developed something called the QHHT, the quantum hypnosis technique. There's a whole bunch of practitioners around the world that are practicing with it now. But what happened is so many people, she would interview someone, she would, do hypnotherapy with somebody in one country, she'd go to a different country, she'd go all around the planet, and similar things would come through for a lot of people. Things like, this person chose, I chose to be here at this time, or this person chose to be here at this time because there's a transition of densities happening. There is an ascension that's going on. There is a planetary shift in awareness happening. And she would get that through thousands of people, that kind of information, understanding the purpose of what's happening on the planet right now. And even after these people came out of the hypnotherapy session, sometimes they didn't even remember what they were saying, but it was coming through their own voice and it was recorded so they could watch it or listen to it. So the information is profound. There's 17 books, I believe it's 17, and they're really good books, and they'll show you more about, you'll also learn more about your consciousness, who you are from a soul level, rather than just the idea of who you are from the ego or the physical level of how we identify ourselves. But it really expands our awareness. It's like, whoa, there's so much more to life. I'm so empowered to really take action doing what I love, and that's something that I think can really help you understand more about this transition that's happening. Now, there's another thing too. It's called the Law of One. It's called the Raw Materials Law of One. And this information came out in the 80s, I believe, the 70s and 80s. And it's profound information. It's one of the best channeled works that has ever been around. And people quote it a lot. A lot of the information has been checked out and literally confirmed. And it's still being confirmed because we're still learning things in our science that is showing these things. But another thing that they said in this 1970, 1980 type channeled material was that there is a transition going on, and it will continue to go on, and right now we are in the middle of it, and it's going to continue to speed up, and we're going to continue to notice that old structures fall away. We're going to continue to notice that amazing things are happening on the planet because we are shifting our level of consciousness. And there are a whole bunch of other sources as well. Those are the two main ones that I really resonated with and that I really got a lot out of, and based a lot of my kind of like what I resonated with, and then I went within and I kind of meditated on it, and I could feel that is something that is true, at least for me. So what I encourage you to do is maybe check those out as well. Understand that the time is going to continue to, the perception of it's going to continue to speed up. Your manifestations will be happening quicker than ever, so really start to focus on what you want more. Understand this is about raising your level of consciousness, and as you do that, things will really begin to change. So Another thing I'll be doing is more live Q&As on Instagram. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, if you want to have more of a dialogue or interaction with me, go ahead and click the link right over here. I'll go ahead and, well, it's not a link, but you can follow me on Instagram, my Instagram below. And other than that, I hope you guys, I gotta do it the way I normally do. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you guys liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that little notification here next to the subscribe button so that you can see the daily vids that I do. And other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.